The People's Democratic Party Presidential Convention to kick off in Abuja. The All Progressives Congress postpones presidential primary, plus gains for children in focus. These and more on today's Panorama. I'm Yen Ray John. Welcome. It's good to know that you can follow this news broadcast live on our website, nta.ng/live, and all our social media platforms displayed on the screen for updates. Following INEC's extension of party primaries, the All Progressives Congress has postponed its special convention for presidential primary from Sunday 29th to Monday 30th of May 2022 to Monday 6th and Wednesday 8th of June 2022. The party's National Publicity Secretary, Felix Morka, in a statement said the development is as a result of the Independent National Electoral Commission's extension of deadline for the submission of lists of candidates by political parties. Meanwhile, after an appeal by the Inter-Party Advisory Council, INEC has extended the last day for the conduct of political party primaries from 3rd to 9th of June. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu is confident this extension will not distort the 2023 election timetable. Mia Ogidi brings us details.
Yabagi meets Yakubu, and not Yakubu meeting Yabagi this time around. And the Yabagi-led IPAC coming with a request for the second time, that is to extend the party primaries. The previous request was for 36 days extension from June 3rd. This time, just a week from 3rd to 10th of June.
We are putting this electoral law 2022 to test for the first time. And we feel that if we were given more time, we would be able to deliver on the promise of having a free and fair elections as we conduct our primaries.
The INEC position has not changed, Mahmood Yakubu told the political parties. But in view of the reduction of the days from 36 to 7, let's go for a working session, the INEC chairman told the political parties.
It appears that the parties have now presented a modified request for what the chairman calls a little adjustment. We will now discuss further to understand the basis for requesting this little adjustment, and thereafter the commission will meet and a statement will be issued. Thank you very much, party chairman and party leaders. God bless you.
Yoss and his colleagues left the meeting at about 4:30 p.m. after 20 minutes opening session. 3 hours later, a press statement issued from the INEC extending the deadline for the conduct of the party primaries from 3rd of June to 9th of June. This, the Commission notes, will not distort the timetable and schedule of activities because there is no engagement within this period, and this extension does not affect the primaries already conducted, the statement added. Mie Ogede, NTA News.
And still on party primaries, Nigeria's First Lady Aisha Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated Senator Aisha Dahiru Benani for emerging as the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress in Adamawa State. A statement by the Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Office of the First Lady, Aliyu Abdullahi, said the First Lady described the emergence of Senator Aisha Dahiru as a victory for Nigerian women. The First Lady therefore advised the governorship aspirant not to rest on our oars as the journey has just begun. Meanwhile, in Borno State, Governor Babagana Umar Zulum has been declared APC governorship candidate in the just concluded primary election. Says his ardent desire to rebuild his state takes precedence over any consideration for a higher national assignment at the moment. The party primary election with Zulum as sole contestant had in attendance 3 former governors of Borno and other APC stakeholders in the state. Muhammad Goni reports.
Delegates from the 27 local government areas in the state cast their ballots in an orderly manner, devoid of rancor, in a serene environment created by the organizing committee.
Having collected and certified valid votes cast in favor of Engineer Professor Babagana Umar Abdul FFNE, Executive Governor of Borno State. Having scored the highest number of votes cast is hereby declared winner in this gubernatorial primary.
Governor Zulum, in his acceptance speech, thanked delegates and stakeholders and reiterated his determination for unity among leadership and stakeholders in the quest for recovery, stability, and prosperity. According to him, it is also aimed at ending challenges confronting the state, especially the security situation, as evident in the recent killing of over 30 people in Kalabalgi. He thanked citizens of Borno for their continued support to his administration in the last 3 years and assured electors of his commitment to build on the achievements recorded in various sectors if given the mandate in 2023.
While I thank those who may be considering me for the position of VP, I prefer to step back and work drastically for the people of Borno State.
Former Governor Kashim Shettima also have on the need for unity of stakeholders, saying they are bound by a common destiny and overall interests of Borno. In Maiduguri, Muhammad Goni, NTA News.
And still talking politics, Muhammad Hayatuddin has withdrawn from the PDP presidential primaries via a letter dated May 27, 2022, alleging that the process has been monetized. Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party holds its presidential convention in Abuja today. We now join Timothy Yusuf at the Moshood Abiola Stadium venue of the convention. Timothy, can you hear me? Situation at the stadium at the moment, because we're hearing stories of postponement of the convention. What's going on? Timothy, can you hear me? Timothy, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
It's actually noisy here. I can't really hear you out. But then we are live at the velodrome of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium. And it's really a decision-taking moment for the People's Democratic Party as it tries to unveil its presidential candidate for the 2023 general elections. The velodrome is set. Actually, we have the ballot boxes already put in place. But then we are yet to see any of the delegates from the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT seated. All we could see here are a handful of presiding officers and party officials. In addition, no member of the National Convention Planning Committee, chaired by former Senate President David Mark, is really on hand to really speak to at the moment. And about 811 delegates are actually expected to to participate in the exercise. And going further into a breakdown of the number of delegates, we have 193 coming from the northwest zone of the country. 193 delegates also are expected from the southwest, with North Central expected to bring on board 130, 129 for the south-south zone, 115 for the northeast, and then 100 from the southeast zone. And in 17 aspirants purchased expression of interest and nomination forms to partake in this exercise. But thereafter, 2 were not cleared by the party's screening committee. Later on, just 3 days ago, one of the leading aspirants Mr. Peter Obi pulled out of the primary exercise and also went ahead to resign his membership of the party. And just yesterday, another aspirant, Muhammad Hayatuddin, also wrote the National Working Committee of the party, pulling out of the presidential race. And as it were, for now, we have 14 ballot boxes on display here. And this is all that is happening here. A perfect situation, I would say, because every official, journalist, and the party officials coming here are actually thoroughly screened before they gain access. This is all we have here for now, except if you may have any other thing. But I can't really hear you out, studio.
All right, many thanks, Timothy. Because you can't really hear me, I want to leave my other questions to when we have you in our next bulletin, when you would give us more update on the situation report at the Moshood Abiola Stadium venue of the PDP presidential convention. Many thanks, Timothy, for that brilliant update. Okay, let's now take a break. Panorama returns shortly.
The vaccine offers hope for a safe country free of coronavirus. I urge all state governments, traditional and religious leaders to take the lead in the mobilization effort within their environment and spheres of influence. I similarly urge all eligible Nigerians to present themselves and be vaccinated in accordance with the order of priority already mapped out at the various authorized designated centers only.
Welcome back. Nigeria has thrown its weight behind the establishment of African Humanitarian Agency to not only forge a common position on humanitarian effectiveness, but also create an appropriate architecture to effectively respond and coordinate humanitarian crises on the continent. President Muhammadu Buhari hosted the country's position at the ongoing extraordinary session of the Assembly of Heads of States and Governments on Humanitarian Crisis in Africa, pledged $3 million in support of the agency. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports from Malabo, Equatorial Guinea.
The extraordinary summit of the African Union is convened by African leaders to, amongst others, address the current humanitarian challenges bedeviling the African continent. This is in response to the increasing rate of conflict, displacement, climate shocks, and inflation exacerbated by the socio-economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as the Russia-Ukraine crisis. According to the UN World Food Programme, the number of hungry people in the Sahel and West Africa in particular has quadrupled over the last 3 years, currently reaching 41 million. For the chairperson of the African Union, President Macky Sall of Senegal, and other speakers at the opening ceremony, this summit could not have come at a better time.
Because, as they say, prevention is better than cure. The plight of these millions of persons, men and women of all ages, frustrated and hopeless, appeals to our collective conscience.
The African humanitarian agencies from this continent, for the people of the continent, has all the potential to make a world of difference. In Africa, certainly, but also beyond. And I'm here on behalf of Mr. Antonio Guterres to tell you that the United Nations is here to stand with you, is here to help.
President Muhammadu Buhari had told the summit at plenary that out of the over 5 million internally displaced persons in the Lake Chad region alone, about 70% are estimated to be from Nigeria. Consequently, the president was emphatic that the humanitarian crisis at hand is very dangerous, hence the need for collective and coordinated response by all.
As a government, our immediate response was creation of a Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development in order to respond quickly to all situations of displaced persons and disaster management. Through the ministry, government established internally displaced persons camps in every part of the country for refugees, returnee migrants, and displaced persons. We also have introduced a conditional cash transfer scheme whereby a monthly cash transfer is made to the very poor and vulnerable in our society.
President Buhari, however, said Nigeria strongly believes in the continental response to the humanitarian crisis confronting the continent.
The rationale is to forge a common African position on humanitarian effectiveness and to create an appropriate continental architecture to effectively respond and coordinate humanitarian crises on the continent.
And so, as Nigeria, Africa's largest economy, pledged total commitment to the establishment of an African humanitarian agency, President Muhammadu Buhari announced one of the highest contributions of $3 million towards actualizing the dream. From Malabo, Equatorial Guinea, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Similarly, peace-building efforts deserve a holistic approach from all segments of the society, and it can only be possible through gender mainstreaming and youth's participation in the design and implementation strategy for a peaceful Africa. This formed part of the address of the President of the Africa First Ladies Peace Mission and the First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Buhari, at the 16th Extraordinary Session of the African Union Head of State Summit in Malabo, Equatorial Guinea. State House correspondent Aliyu Kabir reports.
The focus of this extraordinary session on Africa's humanitarian challenges, terrorism, and the emergence pattern of non-constitutional change of government in some parts of Africa could not have come at a better time than now.
This is the President of the Africa First Ladies Peace Mission and the First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Buhari, addressing African leaders at the opening plenary of the extraordinary session of the African Union currently taking place in Malabo, Equatorial Guinea. Speaking on behalf of the African First Ladies, the President acknowledged the support and commitment of the AU towards peace building in Africa, through which their platform is actively complementing all efforts towards addressing various issues, including gender mainstreaming, as well as peace, harmony, and development in Africa. The President of the Africa First Ladies Peace Mission has equally informed the head of state of the mission's achievements since her inception as the President of the mission in November 2021.
We have secured a piece of land in Abuja, Nigeria, and have commenced the construction of a permanent and befitting secretariat for the mission. It will be completed and commissioned in January 2023 by the grace of God.
The President has also intimated the African leaders on the need for support and commitment of their spouses towards enhancing education, health, women empowerment, as well as all efforts to promote conflict resolution within the continent in line with the Achievement Agenda 2063, AU Charter, and the UN Security Council Resolution 1325.
Embark on programs that focus on peace building, education, health, and women empowerment. Collaboration with African parliaments and legislative institutions in support of broader engagements and gender mainstreaming in peace campaign activities and other efforts at conflict resolution.
Apart from the desire for the emergence of peace clubs in secondary schools, the President also reaffirmed the mission's commitment towards the development and inclusion of peace and security studies as part of the curriculum of basic secondary education across the African continent. These, according to the President, are efforts towards promoting peace and development in Africa, urging all stakeholders to come on board. In Malabo, Equatorial Guinea, Aliyu Kabir, NTA News.
Away from Equatorial Guinea now, back home, additional 40 megawatts of electricity is being added to the national grid from the Kashimbila multi-purpose hydroelectric dam as evacuation of power from the plant progresses. Joshua Ojito is our guide.
40 megawatts Kashimbila hydroelectric dam in Taraba State delivered and energized, with communities in southern Taraba feeling impact of electricity supply.
When this light came, in fact, the business is moving. Everything is moving on smoothly.
Yes, we are enjoying the light.
Bakum now is enjoying light. Wukari is enjoying light.
The phase 2 of the project, which covers evacuation of power generated to the national grid, progresses with construction of 56 kilometers transmission line to link Yandef substation and Apir, both in Benue State. Minister of Power Abubakar Aliyu represented monitors progress of work, insisting the project be delivered this year.
The line also runs through 75 kilometers to Wukari, which we have 2x60 MVA substation at Wukari to provide electricity to Wukari and its environment. And from Wukari now the line terminates here in Yandef to deliver the 40 megawatts to the grid.
As federal government continues to evacuate power generated from new hydroelectric dams across the country, hope rises for electricity customers of improved supply. Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Looking at other issues now, the head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Dr. Folashade Yemiason, says permanent secretaries of federal and state ministerial departments and agencies have moral obligations to uplift the economic status of the country. Speaking at a 2-day retreat in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, Dr. Yemiason says the task is achievable by improving the quality of governance as well as checking manners of public procurement, irregularities and infractions. Clement Barakuyu reports.
Permanent secretaries are often regarded as accounting officers of their respective ministries, departments and agencies. Hence, they must demonstrate sufficient understanding of the nexus between weak public procurement procedures and poor project implementation, as well as the adverse consequences on national development. It is expected that these permanent secretaries will leave here well prepared to improve procurement implementation in Nigeria and ensure the effective implementation of the year's budget.
Other matters of great importance are the need to discourage touting and also encourage small and medium-scale businesses in procurement so as to promote local content, curb capital flight, and grow our economy.
There can be no better time than now to seek to strengthen the public procurement for optimal effectiveness, which is our aim of creating.
Non-regulated procurement environment ultimately had far-reaching consequences on our development as a nation.
The 2-day retreat had as its theme strengthening public procurement for optimal effectiveness. In Uyo, Clement Barkui, NTA News.
Next is sports with Enajo Adeko.
Three-time African champions Nigeria are set to face Mexico and Ecuador in an international